Hi, my name is Sam. I'm the owner of Professional Fleet, and today we're going to finish up our third part of the series of 3 here for the used car inspections. We're going to inspect the underneath of the vehicle to kind of look over the ball joints, check out the tires, any loose front end parts, look for any oil leaks, transmission leaks, coolant leaks, that type of thing. So we're going to start from the right side of the vehicle, work our way around, and I'll kind of show you how to check certain things, how to know if they're loose, they're good or bad, kind of what to look for, and that type of thing. We want to have the tires be at least 50% tread, which means you should be able to take your finger pretty much and put your finger right in the tread, and you should be able to have about half of your pinky, like thumbnail width, height I should say, I guess, into the tread. At about the halfway point of your pinky thumbnail, that means you got about 50% or more tread left on the tires. So this tire is good. We want to move now to the suspension stuff. Alright, so your strut's up here. This is your, it's called your stabilizer links, or stab link, they call them with different names, but it's a link that goes from the strut to your sway bar. So you want to make sure your sway bar is not broke, make sure your links are nice and tight, and then like I said before, here's your tie rod. Check G's, you want to go in and out, so we're looking for in and out play. There should be no movement in or out, it should be nice and tight. And like I said, there's no play here. You can also check for up and down play on the tie rod, and there's nothing there. So and there's your CV boot again, no tears, no grease coming out. So on this side, our outer tie rod, our inner tie rod, our lower ball joint, our CV shaft, our stabilizer link, and our strut are all tight, good, no issues here. So basically, go around the other side of the vehicle and do the same thing. And like I said, this side passes, we're good. And then while we're right here, we'll move over to the other front. Alright, so here's the other tire, same thing, make sure pinky goes in at least halfway to the thumbnail, that way you know you got at least some decent tread left on the tire. That tire looks good. Same stuff, same parts as the other side. We want to make sure that the CV boot's good, the ball joint's good, just give it a good, a good push and pull, make sure everything's tight, in and out, top and bottom. While we're here, we can also look at the brake system parts, make sure there's no leakage on the brake parts. Make sure your brake hoses are good, make sure your caliper's good, check the rotors for rust conditions, and everything here, like I said before, same as the other side, everything's nice and tight, looks good. We didn't hear any noises on a test drive, so at that point we verified everything in the front end is good and tight. So at this point we'll move to the back of the vehicle. Alright, same thing here, tires look great back here. There's even more tread on these rears than what there is on the fronts. We'll move here to the inside now, look at the shocks. These shocks, as you can see, are leaking. There's oil coming out of them, so these rear shocks are definitely bad, should be replaced. While we're here, we can look at the CV shafts. This is a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so it has front and rear axle shafts. And boots here are good. There's no leaking. There's no leaking here, no grease. Everything looks good. We have our brake system back here, so since we have it up in the air, we can take a look at the brakes, see how good the pads look, make sure the rotors aren't rusty, look for no brake fluid leaks back here. And everything in that category looks good. This vehicle also has lower ball joints, so you want to check these for play, make sure there's no looseness there. And there's no tie rod back here on this vehicle, so we don't have to check tie rods. Another thing you might want to take a look at while you're in there is the parking brakes. There's not much you can check under the vehicle on parking brakes for the most part. Most of that's got to be done inside the vehicle. So on this driver's side rear, everything looks good. There's no play in and out. Bearings all feel good. Tie rods, everything looks good back here. As we looked before, we know this thing's going to need some brakes soon on the pads, because we pulled the tires and verified that earlier. We also have a spare tire up here on the vehicles underneath. Just want to check the condition of that if at all possible. Verify the vehicle has a spare tire, and if it does, what condition it is in. This tire is pretty worn out. I'm guessing this tire was probably on the rear of the vehicle, or was put on the rear of the vehicle, and this is the old one that came off the vehicle. So we'll move to the other side here. Check the suspension out. Same thing on this side. We got some leaking shocks here. The grease coming out of them and dirt up here because it's stuck to it due to the grease. So we know we need shocks. Shafts, CV shafts look good. No grease here. Same as the brake system. Everything looks good. We do need pads, like we said before. Ball joint here. We'll test that. In and out, and up and down. Everything looks good there. No play. And then we got our exhaust system here, so we might as well take a peek at that. I don't see any leaks anywhere. So exhaust looks good at this point, as well as everything on this side of the vehicle. So that pretty much concludes our suspension testing and steering stuff and brake stuff. So now we'll move on to right down the center of the vehicle, and we'll kind of check out the drivetrain components and the rest of our exhaust system. All right, so we're underneath the vehicle. We want to look for, like I said, engine leaks, transmission leaks, coolant leaks, exhaust. Up here we have the catalytic converter. We have an oxygen sensor here. Just want to make sure that the converters look good outside. There's no rust and there's no exhaust leaks. To find an exhaust leak, we're looking for black soot, like a real deep black color. Will be anywhere on the exhaust system. If you see dark black or real deep charcoal like black color, that could be leaking exhaust. I don't see anything leaking here. This is the oil pan of the engine. We don't have any major oil leaks. We got some minor stuff between the engine and transmission here. And then up top of the vehicle, we got a little bit of oil leaking over here. They're very, very minor leaks. And then your transmission is on this side of the vehicle. And everything over here looks good. There's minor seepage here. That's normal for something this old and this amount of mileage on it, but no major leaks anywhere. And we'll continue down the center of the vehicle, just kind of looking over things. Look down over our exhaust pipes, kind of check it out. This is the flex pipe on your exhaust system. Most vehicles have these today, and the stainless steel wrap that's on here is coming off, which means this is starting to go bad. It's okay now. It'll probably last another year or two. But the protection of the stainless that it provides is going to start deteriorating away and allowing the rest of the stuff to rust. But right now everything looks good here. We'll keep on moving down. On the center of the vehicle we have our drive shaft on a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So you want to just check the U-joints. These are your U-joints here. You want to make sure they're not rusted, they're not loose. Check them for play. And again, everything feels nice and tight here. Everything's good. We'll continue on down. Same thing, just checking over our exhaust system, looking for no leaks of any sort. And then continue down our drive shaft to the back U-joint. And we just want to make sure there's no play. See if they're greasable. If they are, we'll be able to grease them later. Make sure there's no like an orange colored rust right to where the U-joint is. That could be a good indication that the U-joint's going bad. I don't see anything here indicating there's a problem there, so we're okay. And this is the rear differential. I want to make sure there's no oil leaks anywhere on this whatsoever. And I don't see anything here. And this is the back section of the rear end of the vehicle. Same thing, no leaks, everything looks really good. So at this point, we've checked over the drivetrain, the U-joints, the drive shaft. We found no leaks there. The next thing we're going to look at is checking our brake lines and fuel lines. And our fuel tank, we're going to kind of check it out, look and see if we see any signs of leakage. Obviously it's a rainy day today, so we got a lot of water on here. Kind of hard to check for fuel leaks on a rainy day. But we're found down looking at our fuel lines. Everything's attached, everything looks nice and tight. I don't see any leaks. And here's your fuel filter. Looks like it's probably the original one, it's been there for a while, so probably could use a fuel filter. But the rest of your plastic lines and steel lines all look good. That's kind of what we're doing. Just going to follow it down and look and make sure everything looks good. There's no rust spots or large, at the location where they mount, you'll see a lot of rust a lot of times there, and that's where they usually rust out. So you want to check all your attaching points for your lines. So wherever you have a steel line and it's attached to the vehicle frame or the chassis or the body of the vehicle, that's where they will usually rust out and leak. So you want to check really close at those locations where the lines mount to the vehicle. That's the most obvious and most common place they'll rust out at. Even on a newer vehicle, they'll still rust out. This has some plastic line and some steel line. So we'll kind of follow those up, just make sure everything looks good. And then back to the front of the vehicle, following them up, everything looks good there. And right here we have a good shot of our rack and pinion steering unit on this front, so steering and suspension stuff. And you can look in there and just make sure there's no leaks on that as well, while we're right here. And I don't see any signs of power steering fluid leaks anywhere on the vehicle, as well as on the rack. So that pretty much concludes our used car inspection. Hi, my name is Sam again, and I just wanted to say thank you for your time. Hoping you learned a lot and that you were able to kind of follow through with what we've gone through. And once you're done with this inspection, you have a really good idea as to the condition of the vehicle, if it's worth buying or not. You'll be able to get estimates for all this, the stuff that you do find in the vehicle, if you find stuff wrong with it. And then you can take those estimates in to the individual that you're buying the vehicle from, and it kind of gives you some bartering power when you're trying to negotiate the price of the vehicle.